I'm just putting the finishing touches on a short documentary for a college soccer team based out of Mississippi. Here's a little teaser.
There has never been an HBCU men's soccer program in the state of Mississippi. I'm Ahmad Smith, head men's soccer coach to Beal College. I wanted to play D1 soccer. No program was like that of its kind, so I had to leave and go far, far away to play the game that I love. The first year when we started the program, it was to put people in jerseys and play a game.
I'm Brian Rios Martinez, and I'm the goalkeeper for Tougaloo men's soccer program.
So that was just a little teaser. The whole video is going to be 90 seconds long. It's not done yet. It needs a color grade. It needs some sound design. And I may change some of the cuts. So I didn't really want to show you the full thing until it was ready. But this has been a really long process and a really hard video for me to make. So I thought I'd talk about it today. So first of all, how did I get this job? Well, I did a free shoot for this hat company called Melon.
Leave a cloud in your zones, take them out. Getting rowdy and sure, simmer down. One is time with my vocals, I'm loud and outspoken. They're out of control with it now. Wishing can get you half of that. They must believe when they see how we bring the smart attack. Ticking boxes looking like we really got that dark graph. Distant watching, they must be without thinking of goals in the acts. They think I got time on my hands to pick up the phone, Mr. Chat. This is my time to get locked into it. I've signed up.
And I did it with a friend I met at a coffee shop. We did the shoot together. It's my favorite hat company, and we just put a lot of thought into it. And then we posted it on Instagram. The hat company saw it, and they loved it, and they said, can we buy this from you? And so we sold it to them. And from that hat ad, someone watched it, someone who's friends with our model in the shoot, and he said, this is awesome. You're like, he knew the story of the person we were focusing on in that shoot, and he knew that in that shoot, we weren't just showing a hat, but we were telling someone's story. And he knew the story of that guy, and so he instantly caught it. So that was like a subtle detail, that like it wasn't just a hat story, but it was about a guy who pushes through and works out regularly, even in extreme conditions in Mississippi when it's like above 100. He works out, and it reflects his story as someone who's gone from being obese and overweight to someone who's extremely disciplined and will run in over 100 degrees, 100% humidity weather, which is amazing. But anyways, that was a subtle thing, and the coach of this soccer team caught that. And so he reached out to me and sent me this DM. And this is what their Instagram looked like. So I wasn't sure what kind of team they were, but then I jumped on a call with the guy, and the guy was just super passionate and had a lot of energy, and I quickly saw that like something special's happening here. He's got so much energy. He's someone who is a semi-pro. His friends have gone on to become pros, and he's trying to do something special here in Mississippi. So we figured out a price for the shoot, and then we started shooting. And my friend Imani, who helped me with the Melon shoot, he heard about this shoot and he wanted in on it. So we brought him in, and he was the creative director on this shoot, and he really, really, really helped push it to excellence. So the first thing that we did on this shoot is we didn't really have much time to plan because it was in my last few weeks of living in Mississippi. And like the first thing we had to shoot was a game day, and they had like one game left in the season that I would be able to go to within my schedule. And it was like within a few days of agreeing to do this shoot. So we went ahead, just quickly went out there and shot it, got drone stuff and tons of footage. And then the next thing we shot is we shot a practice. We had them come at sunset and practice on their field. They've got like a real beaten up field, and we wanted to show that. And so we picked sunset, and that turned out nice. And then we stayed late with a few of the players, interviewed them, and then got some like really artistic shots late at night. Then after that, I came back another day, got B-roll of the campus and people just walking around the campus trying to like show the environment of the college. And then I came back another day with Imani, and we spent I think like 3 to 5, I think about 5 hours just shooting this one interview with this coach. We spent about 2-3 hours just setting up, and in the final cut we didn't even show the final shot we got, even though we really liked the final shot. But it didn't fit with the vibe, which is sad. But sometimes you have to do that. You have to cut a shot you really like because it doesn't help the story. So anyways, this is what that shot looked like, the shot of the coach. I really liked it. We used negative fill to give his face drama. But we ended up not wanting to show people talking during the video. We just wanted to show the energy of the players and everything. So we shot all that footage. Then I took it home, and then I moved. And then a few weeks went by, and a ton of shoots were just happening in my last few weeks in Mississippi, which was awesome. And then I moved to California. And then all of a sudden there's so many different things in my life. Like I need to unpack, I need to get my car registered, and I had other projects to finish up and stuff. And so this video got put on the back burner for a while until about 2 weeks ago. And that's when things have started kicking up for this video and when we jumped into the editing phase. And I think this video's editing phase is really, really fascinating because it was really, really hard for me. So first of all, we have 4 hours of B-roll. And we have 40 minutes of interviews. So, and the video needs to be a 90-second video that goes out on Instagram because that's where their biggest audience is. And the video is documenting what's happening with this team in Mississippi. And it's documenting what's happening in Mississippi. And it's just something that they'll use for recruitment, bringing in sponsors and things like that to just show what's happening. So it needs to be 90 seconds. We have to cut 4 hours of B-roll down to 90 seconds. We need to cut 40 minutes of interviews down to 90 seconds. And what was really interesting, so first we just threw everything on a timeline, as you see here. The first thing we did is we put all the interviews together. We got interviews of the coach and interviews of the 2 players. That's going to be our story. These people are telling the story. Now, all 3 of them, they didn't get to see each other's interviews. We interviewed the 2 players. They were next to each other. They got to see each other talking, but they didn't get to see what the coach said. So some of it was a little off track. Like they were talking about different things, all interesting things. And what we quickly realized is there's like 5 different stories going on here. So we had to decide what story is it that we are telling. So we did that by first picking out our favorite interview clips, pulling them together, and then checking out a few different stories. So the first story that we tried was, we're a team that played it. We start off with this player going, yeah, the field we play on is pretty rough. It's beat up. And then we would like show footage of the field being beat up. And then he talks about how the coach says, use that to your advantage. You know, yeah, we play on a beat up field, but that makes us even better for when we play on a nice field. And then we would jump into the story of the team and the coach and the impact they're having. But then we realized there's too much going on there. We're talking about a field, then we're talking about the coach, then we're talking about the team and the story of the team, and it's all 90 seconds. So there's just way too much. So then in our second cut, we decided to nail it down and really focus on introduce a problem, have some story, and end with a solution. So the problem we decided to introduce was that when the coach was a kid, he wanted to play D1 soccer in Mississippi, but he couldn't because there's no D1 soccer programs for him. So he had to go to another state to play it, even though he didn't want to. He really loved his state and would have loved to stay near his family, but he couldn't. So then we jumped into the story, and the story is the coach. He's our hero. He's the hero we decided to have. So he wanted to play D1 soccer. So then he talks about this team, like the challenges he went through, and this team that he started. Then the players talk about the team and their journey, and how the team had its first game ever in history, like first win ever history, and then it won 3 games. And then we end with, and now young black and brown boys have a place to play D1 soccer in Mississippi. Well, this team, it isn't necessarily D1, but it's basically almost D1, and they're aiming for D1. So they're probably going to get there pretty soon. And their goal is to send players to the pros. So it's a good place to be if you're like serious about soccer and you want to be in Mississippi. And so that became our story. We had this problem that they didn't have this kind of soccer team in Mississippi, and then this journey, and then it ends with the solution. And so that's the story we went with. out of all the different stories, because there was multiple different stories in there. So that was tricky at first, because you think when you're talking to the client, you think they have the story figured out. And they do, but you got to like figure out how to tell that story really narrowly and quickly. And then so shared it with Amani. He had some edits and he liked different parts of the interviews better. So we did that. We took those parts and webbed them in. Then he liked it better. Then I shared it with the coach and he made some changes to the story. So then we changed the story more. He wanted us to focus more on the team and tell it more from the team's perspective. So we did that. And then it was time to add in B-roll. So we scrolled through all of this B-roll, 4 hours of B-roll. We've got the soccer game. We've got drone footage of the soccer game. We have their practice. We have them all hyped. We have them scoring goals. We have footage of the interviews. We have these stylistic shoots late at night. We have stylistic shots of the coach. And then we use these to fill in the story and to complement what we were saying. So then I made a cut with that. And then I would call Amani. I'd be like, Amani, what do you think of this cut and that cut? And he'd be like, I really don't like this one. And I like this one. And this one's trash. And this one's better. And then Amani really encouraged me to lean into having slow-mo shots and then fast shots. And slow-mo shots and fast shots. And then also really lean into staring into people's faces. Because you can see a lot when you really look into somebody's eyes. And that's something we want to do with this video. We really want to show the story and the heart and the soul of these people. So Amani really encouraged us to slow down and stare at people's faces in these shots. And that's how we got where we are at now. I feel really good about this edit. It obviously needs a color grade, obviously needs sound design, and that will come. But the main thing is getting the story right and the visuals right first, and then we can shine it up when it's ready. So I'm actually about to go on a family trip to China. I had some family who offered to fly us out to China. So us and this little munchkin, we're gonna fly out to China. It was like something you couldn't say no to. Free trip to China. So we're like, okay, great, we'll do it. So we're going to China. So we're gonna be gone for 2 weeks. And Amani encouraged me. He's like, this is the perfect time to just set this down, forget about it for 2 weeks, then come back to it and see what we think. So that's what we're gonna do. And the client is totally fine with that. He said, take till 2025 if you need to, just get the story right. So that's what we're gonna do. All in all, it was a great learning experience, and I'll share the final result when it's done, or at least it'll be on my Instagram. You can follow my Instagram in the description, or it'll be on my website, but I'll tell you when it goes up. So anyways, I'm off to China. I'll see you guys in a few weeks when I get back, and we'll keep creating awesome videos. And if you're new to the community here, just leave a comment. We're all just trying to make friends and just grow as creatives as much as we can together. And I'm just trying to be transparent with my growth and invite you in on the journey. So thanks for coming along. Me and Maggie are super glad to have you here. Leave a comment, tell us who you are, and I'd love to meet you. All right, you guys have a good one. See ya.